Right, boys and girls, we're going to get started straight away. But before we start, make sure that you've got a drink, a nice glass of water. If you want to pause the video at any point to grab a drink, you can do that. Then make sure that you've got a nice soft gymnastics mat to practice on. Make sure that you've got enough space wherever you are to do all of the exercises. Make sure that you're not pushing yourself too hard. If any of the exercises are too challenging for you, take a rest and you can join in a wee bit later. And then last but not least, make sure that you are being sensible and not carrying on when you're doing any of the exercises. Okay, so we are going to get started. We're going to be working very, very hard on our core today. As you all know, your core is super important for protecting yourself from injuries. Your back can get injured a lot through gymnastics, and if you are working very, very hard on your core, then you can stop it getting sore. Okay, also very, very important to be working on your core because it is super, super important for your shapes. So very important for your straight shapes, for holding your handstands, very, very important for your dish position, for finishing in your round offs and finishing in your flips. Very, very important also for your shapes that you have in somersaults, like your tuck, your pike, your straddle shape, also very, very important. Very important when you're doing faster moving exercises, so not just for your flip or for your shapes, but very, very important for your faster moving exercises. So if you're doing your flips, your somersaults, your jumps, then your core can be super, super important for staying tight. And if you're doing passes or routines, your core is super, super important for making sure that you can keep your passes and routines on track and get right to the end of the exercise. Okay, so we are going to be doing, first we are going to be starting off with a core circuit of holds. There are going to be 3 rounds in the circuit, and each exercise is going to be held for 30 seconds. If you want to make it a wee bit more challenging, you can do it for 45 seconds, or you can add on another round on the end. Just pause the video and you can use your own timers at home. Okay, we are going to start with our dish position. So we're going to be doing a tucked dish today with our shoulders up nice and high off the floor and our arms right beside our legs, but not holding onto our legs. Our chin is going to be tucked in as tight as we can and our knees in as tight as we can also. And from here, we're going to switch to a tuck sit position. So we're tucking in again, our toes nice and pointed. Again, our arms aren't touching our legs. We're going to be squeezing tight and holding this position, balancing on our bottom. And then from that, we're swapping around into an arch position, lifting up nice and high, getting those shoulders up nice and high, trying to get those arms up above our shoulders. You can have your arms bent today, but you need to have your toes pointed and your legs straight and off the floor. And then swapping around again for our glute bridge position, lifting our bottom up nice and high, keeping our head flat to the floor and looking straight up at the ceiling. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to set the timer and we are going to go. Okay, ready and go. Okay, tuck in nice and tight and hold the position. So, like I mentioned, dish positions are super, super important, and this is really, really important progression for getting to your full dish. It's going to be very, very important if you're wanting to be good at tumble. Really, really important for the way you finish your whip, the way you finish your flip, and the way you finish your round off. And then up to your tuck sit. As you can see, this is the position that you finish your forward roll in right before you get to your feet. So super, super important for your tuck somersaults. Really, really important also for lots of different balances that you do in acro and display. Squeeze tight, keep those feet off the floor, but make sure those toes are pointed. right to your arch. Super important for any exercise that you do where you are bending your back. So your walkovers, your flips, anything like that. Very, very important for improving your flexibility and making sure that your back is nice and strong. And into your glute bridge. Try not to take too long getting between the different exercises, and that will help you to maximize the amount of work that you are doing and help you to be the best that you can be. Getting ready for our second round to go straight into our tuck dish when we hear the timer go. Good job, guys, keep it up. And through to your tuck sit. Good job. Keep your toes nice and pointed, knees in nice and tight. Nearly there. Get ready to swap round for your arch. And getting ready to swap around again to your glute bridge. That's us at the end of our second round, coming on to our last round. So we're nearly there. Keep up the good work. And back to dish. And up to tuck sit. Getting ready to swap round onto our tummy for a nice arch position. Lifting up nice and high. Squeeze tight. And finishing it off with a nice glute bridge. Excellent work, guys. Okay, we are going to move straight on from that to our next round of holds, which are going to be all of our support positions. So we're going to start off in front support. Today we're going to be on our knees with our feet up off the floor. We are going to have a nice angry cat back, nice strong flat back, hands under our shoulders, head looking straight ahead, not letting it come down, and making sure that we're squeezing our tummy and holding that position nice and strong. Swapping around then to our side support position, making sure again our hand is directly under our shoulder and our hand is in line with our knees and our hips. Okay, so again, make sure that your knees are off the floor when you're holding this position, and you're going to have your arm up. Okay, swapping around then to your back support position, lifting your hips up nice and high off the floor, making sure that your fingers are facing towards your toes are nice and pointed, your legs are nice and straight, that your head is in, and that you can see your feet. And then swapping round again to side support on the other side. So these exercises are really very important. Our front support is the foundation for our handstand. It's really, really important for lots of other exercises as well, like our press ups. If you want to have very, very strong arms, then you've got to be able to do a nice press up, and you've got to be able to do a nice front support position before you can do a good press up. Then our back support position, it's our seat landing on trampoline. It's really, really good for learning how to use your hips, for making sure that you're able to hold positions in lots of balances in display and in acro. And then our side support is also very, very important for strengthening the muscles in our sides, for weight bearing on our hands, and for overall conditioning. Okay, so we're going to get started straight away. We're going to do each of these again for 30 seconds. Ready and go. Squeeze your tummy. Make sure that you've got a nice straight line from your shoulders and your head all the way down to your knees. And then round to side support on the other side. And round to back support. And again, side support on the other side. So remember, arm up. If you want to make it a little bit less challenging, you can put your arm down. back round to front support again. So hopefully you're feeling this in your arms as well as your core muscles. Keep up the good work. Swap round to side support. And round to back support. That's us almost at the end of our second round. Only one more to go after that. So make sure that when you're doing these exercises, although you're on your knees, your feet have to be up off the floor. Last round, front supports again. Side support. And back support. Remember, all these exercises that we've been doing are super important for everything, but also very important for our range and conditioning that we do in order to qualify to compete at competitions down south in England. Keep up the good work, only one more to go. And side support on the other side. Okay, excellent job, guys. We're going to finish that circuit there, and we're going to move on to our last circuit. Okay, so our last circuit is going to be for our core, but also for our legs a wee bit as well. We're going to be doing our 1 foot stand. We're going to be doing a squat hold, and we are going to be holding each of these again for 30 seconds. So our 1 foot at stands, super important for our balance and coordination, really important for things that we do in display and acro, and our squat hold, really important for our strength when we're landing, our leg strength, making sure that we don't get injured ankles or any knee problems. Okay, so we're going to be doing our 1 foot stand up like this with our knee completely raised off up to the same height as your hips, and then we're going to be doing our ski hold or our squat hold up against the wall. So 1 foot stand, we're going to have our arms down, knee up nice and high, toe pointed down towards the floor. Don't let your leg rest on the other leg, try to keep it out, try to keep your head focused on one position, looking straight forward at the floor. Then we're going to move on, we're going to do our ski hold, and in our ski hold we're going to be having our back completely flat to the wall. We're going to have our knees in line with our hips, and we're going to have our arms down by our sides. We're going to have our feet shoulder width apart and toes pointed out to the sides. Okay, so we're going to start on our right leg, switch to our left leg, or switch to our ski hold, then switch to our left leg, and then we're going to go back to the start again. So when you're doing this exercise, since we're going to be on our feet, make sure that you're not wearing socks because they might slip. Okay, ready and go. So starting with our right leg up, standing on our left leg. Point those toes down to the floor. Really important for lots of different exercises, including your spins. Really important for your leg strength and lots of different balances. And down to our squat hold. So make sure that your toes are pointed out slightly, 10 to 2. Make sure that your knees are pointed along your toes, that your back is completely flat to the wall, and that your head is in a neutral position. This is our landing position, which can be super important in competitions for getting those extra marks. And then up to our feet for our 1 foot stand, this time standing on our right leg with our left leg up. Make sure that the leg that you're standing on is completely straight and not bent at all. And swap leg. And then to our squat hold position. Squeeze tight from your tummy and really try to spread your toes out and make sure your toes are pointed out slightly. And up to your feet. Coming up to our last round before we finish off. Swap leg. Try to have those toes pointed all the way to the floor. This is really, really good for working on your flexibility as well. The higher you get your knee, the more you are stretching your body. And then squat hold. Squeeze your back nice and tight to the wall. Try not to have a bendy back. And last, 1 foot stand. Okay. Excellent job, guys. I hope you enjoyed today, and I hope that you got lots and lots out of it. Remember that you can keep coming back to this video. Next week we're going to do the same kind of circuits, but we're going to be progressing it, making it a wee bit harder. So if you're struggling next week, then you can come back and try this video again and make sure that you are improving. We're going to call this level 1 for our core hold circuits. So if you're struggling next week with the level 2 core hold circuits, then you can come back and you can work on this one. I hope that you're all having a good week, and I hope to see you all soon. Okay, bye.